I'm really grateful to be in a place where I can write about my community. I can write about people like my parents who I don't think ever had a voice in American media. Hi, I'm Kimmy Yam. I'm a reporter at NBC Asian America, and I write about the intersection of race, politics, and culture in the Asian American community. I write primarily about culture and politics as it relates to race, issues that disproportionately impact the Asian American community. My job, and the job of a lot of people at NBC News, is to go in and figure out what the objective, responsible truth is to all of this and make sure we get kind of all of these different sides of the story. I think a lot of our anxiety as human beings has to do with the fact that we feel very helpless, and journalism in a way is to get around that and to target something and look at it and ask people to interrogate different aspects of society. Most nights I walk 7 to 12 miles. It's just really an exercise in losing that anxiety that I have when I'm writing. I never get nervous for anything aside from writing. When I sit in front of the blank page, it is a prison to me. So it's really the only way for me to kind of work through it. Reading any of my work from like even last week, I just cringe because I'm like, oh God, I hope my writing gets better. One of the heaviest things to write about was definitely right after the Atlanta shooting. And processing that in real time, there is so much conversation around the suspect. But what about the victims, and what about our histories led us to this point, and what went wrong? Writing about this in that time was kind of a wake-up call to a lot of people. And I think that, after that, organizations, a lot of news outlets started examining that particular tragedy through a different lens. Some general tips to really get into this type of reporting. Probably the most critical thing is to continue reading about the subject matter and not stop at just current events. Especially as reporters, we read all day, and the assumption is that we are learning enough, and sometimes it's not enough. Try to give yourself and pump yourself up and give yourself that confidence to write every single day. And then my third piece of advice is just, setting yourself up to make sure you have things like healthcare, things like pay, even for a job or an internship, and just having a base and at least like a safety, a stability to pursue something long-term that is so important. I went to Georgetown and I went and studied international relations. And that is not what I'm doing now. I remember, my senior year, just looking at all the options, and I got a fellowship position at a newsroom in which we were all fighting for a very limited amount of full-time positions. And so that was really stressful. What it did do was bring me and the current editorial director of Asian America, NBC Asian America, together, and I will forever be grateful for that. Everyone gets into journalism in a different way, and that was my in.
NBC's Kimmy Yam. Kimmy,
Absolutely.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much for helping us put a spotlight on this.
It's excellent reporting, and I commend folks to NBCnews.com to read your piece.
Now that there is some sort of platform where I get to examine a lot of these issues, that is such a privilege. It is an honor that in like one generation, my parents are working in a restaurant, and I am here, and that is something that I will never take for granted. And so I am really proud to do that, and I'm very proud to write about Asian America.